Hey everybody! I would like to talk to you today about the fast action bonuses that are inside of Mockups for Makers. And I thought it might be helpful to just open them up in Photoshop and let you see how they work. So let's do that. If you purchase Mockups for Makers over at mockupsformakers.com, by the end of the day on Monday, so that's the 8th, so it's before October 9th, which is Tuesday, then you will get more than $75 worth of fast action bonuses. I think the total is actually like 78, but it was just easier to say 75. But with those bonuses, you will get my 14-ounce mug mock-up with glitter, and you'll get my 20-ounce stainless steel tumbler mock-up, which is the Hog brand, also with glitter. And of course you can turn the glitter off. I'll show you how that works. Plus all of these JPEG mockups, which are the simpler single-use mockup style where you're just laying the design on top. So let me just show you how you do this. If I pop open my window here, you can see, okay. So when you get these files, they come in little folders. And let's start with the simple JPEGs. So we have our stemless wine glass JPEGs. If you open that up, it's very easy and simple. You just have 5 JPEG files in here. I'll just double click and open them in my little previewer. And these are basically flat images of the stemless wine glass in a scene. It already looks nice. It might be good for like a wedding or a romantic candlelit dinner or anything along those lines. And these are also going to be great for you to have on hand when you're learning how to make your smart objects and make them rounded and warped to fit the glass itself. So you're going to enjoy using those for sure. And you can use all of these to make mock-up images to use for your business. And then we have the baby bodysuit JPEGs. Same idea. They're also JPEG mock-ups. Just of this bodysuit with a few different things next to it, a few different accessories. And since the course also includes this clothing mockups course, which I mentioned down here, that course teaches you how to work with files like this where you'll learn how to select around the item and turn it into a mock-up where you can change the color of the fabric, or you could change the fabric itself, and you could also make a smart object to be able to lay vinyl and things on top of very quickly and easily. So I think you're really going to enjoy these additional JPEG mock-up files. And then we have our 20-ounce stainless steel glitter hog mock-up. So this has a little copyright notice in it, but it also has a JPEG folder, a PNG folder, and a PSD Photoshop file folder. So inside the Photoshop file folder is the Photoshop file. Surprise, surprise! So that's where that is. You'll just double click that and it will launch in Photoshop. I'll show you that in a sec. And then you have the JPEGs and the PNGs. So I've saved a version of this tumbler, every possible layout that you could have, like with a lid, without a lid, with glitter, without glitter, with a leaning lid in front of it, just the shadow alone. I just made every single one I could think of and saved it out with a transparent background so that you have the flexibility of pulling this into any graphics program really to make a mock-up very easily. You just have to use the settings available to you in whatever program that is and try and alter the color or just leave it as gold. So there's a bunch of those. And then I have these same ones saved out as JPEGs, so they just have a white background, but these have a transparent background. And then the mug is the same thing, except it also has an additional file called color key. If you pop that open, this has some preset colors that I figured out. I figured out the little recipe of hue, saturation, and lightness for you to get these rainbow shades, and it kind of cuts down on the time it takes for you to try and figure out how to make these colors yourself in the layers palette. The stainless steel file is set up with colors a little bit differently, so we can't use the color key in there, but this does work in the mug file. So let me show you that. If we pop over to our Photoshop document, we can see let's start with with the mug. Okay, so the mug folder here has a white background. It has the shadows on one layer. It has the mug itself on another layer. Up here toward the top where you see this little silhouette shape, this is the smart object. And then you have glitter at varying heights and on the handle and not on the handle. Okay, so this is like the 2/3 and then with lower third, and then you have full glitter all the way to the top. And all of this is completely editable. So if you wanted to change the color of this glitter to something else and you wanted to use that little color key I just showed you, this guy, if that opens, like say we wanted it to be aqua, we can look in this color key and see that for aqua, we just need to change the hue to +130. Some of these are minus, which means it's moving left on the slider. The plus is moving right, but just remember +130 is what we want. We'll go back in here. Okay, so if we go into this folder, we have a shading layer, and then we have the color layer, which is where we're going to be editing the color, and then we have the original glitter itself. So on the color layer, this layer, if you double click the little gradient looking box, it brings up hue, saturation, and lightness. And what did we say? We said it was 130, so I'm just going to highlight 24. I'm going to change it to 130. And bam, it's changed. So I could, be like, oh, it's actually darker than that, and start dragging lightness down or up if it's lighter. You can play with the saturation, or you can leave it at 0. And then you can also just be doing these by hand, playing with the hue slider. It's actually really, really fun. And you just kind of have to eyeball it sometimes to get it to match the glitter that you have at home, because everybody's screen is different. So that's how that works, and that's how it works in each of these other files as well. They too have a shading layer, a color layer, and then the gold itself. The full glitter has an additional layer, which just makes it have even more dimension and shading on it. And you have the option of turning these layers off if you don't want to use them. And then if you want to play with the smart object, you just double click on that. It'll open it up in a new tab. You can paste in your new design. I'm actually just going to grab one that I already had in here, and then you got to hit save. Go back to your original file, and there you go. It's all edited. The stainless steel file works similarly, but it has a few extra layers. So on this one, we have our white background. We also have the shadow on the left, or we have the shadow on the right. That's an option. The tumbler itself. We have an optional stainless steel base and an optional stainless steel top area. And then we could also add the lid in if we wanted to. We can move it around even. There's this shine boost layer as well. So there's a few extra things in here that you can kind of play with and just see what happens. Just have fun. You can always re-download it if you feel like you've messed it up. The tumbler folder itself, I'm going to turn off these optional stainless steel bits, has the top lid inside of it. So if you don't have a lid leaning, but you want to represent that there's a lid that comes with this, you can just click that to turn it on and see it shows up on the top there. Then this is also where we have our glitter layer, so we could add that if we wanted to. Oops, I turned off Shine Boost. See how dark it looks? Let's turn Shine Boost back on. That looks nice. Then in here we could be like, oh, I actually just want it to be stainless steel, or I don't want glitter on it. Then you can just turn off the glitter, turn on this color I've created for you for stainless steel, or maybe you want it to be gold. Or if you just have a single color and you want to change the color, you can go to the one color layer, double click the box, it pops open this color picker, and you can pick another color. It's completely within your hands to play around with this as much as you want. Then there's also the two color option. So this is a gradient where half of it is one color and half of it is another color. Inside of there, if you double click, it opens up a gradient fill. Click on that little rectangle. It opens up a gradient editor. And by the way, if I didn't already say this, you don't have to memorize everything I'm showing you right now. I have tutorials on YouTube that show all of these steps in detail that you can get to anytime. Anyone can look at those. So don't feel like you have to like be jotting down notes or anything. And once you learn how one of my files works, they all work the same way. So on this little gradient line, there's these boxes below. So for the purple area, if you want to change that color, just click on the purple box. It opens up another little purple box. Click on that, and you could change that color to something else. Likewise with the magenta, you could change that to something else. That looks terrible, but you get the idea. And if you wanted to change where the gradient lives, you can also slide these around a little bit. You could be like, I want it to be very small where the red is, and drag it over there, or I want it to go the other way. You can play around with that if you want. I'm just going to cancel it and go back to the original. And then the bottom one is a 3-color gradient, so there's 3 colors going on here. It's really fun to play with these files, and I think you're going to love it. And the coolest part is when you purchase the course, I will teach you how to create a file like this. And if you feel intimidated by that and maybe don't even want to do it, that's okay. But I will take you step by step through the process of photographing the original tumbler, how to add these gradient layers, how to add shadows. I'm really adding a lot to this course from the previous version when I had it in Photoshop Mockup Mastery, and you are going to learn how to create all this stuff. You're going to understand how to add glitter to a picture and mask it in so that it's to the shape of the mug, and how to rough up the edge so it looks more natural, how to add special shading on it so it doesn't look so flat, how to do your own color layers. You're going to learn how to make these things from scratch, but the beautiful thing is that if you buy between now and Monday the 8th, by the end of Monday, you get all these files included. So, and these are, 75 plus above the $200 worth of stuff that I already have in there, which is all these goodies. So there's another stainless steel file, another mug, wine glass, scene creator, pre-made scenes, all this good stuff. So I hope that helps you understand what the fast action bonuses are and why they're so awesome. I'm so excited, and I want you guys to get in there now, not waste any time, get these goodies, get this extra value, and you might even have time to start using these things for Christmas, even if it's not too late for your shop, but at the very least for New Year's and going into January and February, and just going forward, and everything you learn in the course, of course, is a skill for life. So I hope you enjoyed the little tour here, and I'll be doing more lives and posts and things throughout the week, all the way through Monday, showing you more about the course and all of that. So if you have any questions or comments, post them below, email me, drop a note, create a new post, however you feel like you want to connect with me, do it. I'm here to help you and answer your questions. If you're not sure that the course is right for you and you want to check in with me on that, absolutely ask, and I'll let you know if it's not. And also, this doesn't really, you can see here that there's a lot of emphasis on drinkware because that's where I started, but I have expanded this course, and it's going to be helping you in more ways than with just drinkware. So if you don't do much in the way of drinkware, or you haven't started yet, the course is probably still for you if you have clothing, if you have wood signs, frames, anything that you think could be made into a mock-up. And if you're unsure, ask me. The skills you learn in here are going to help you with that. I even have 1 or 2 students that have come in and joined my courses before that don't sell anything like this at all. They just want to learn Photoshop, and they 100% will inside my course. You learn the tools you need to start new documents, to select things, to cut out backgrounds, all that good stuff. But anyway, I don't want to get too rambly. I hope this helped, and I'm here if you have any questions. Just reach out.